In the last video, we saw how to create the journals for the new transactional currency. After we finish that step, we are now able to do journal entries in that currency and have the system automatically do the conversion as long as the conversion rate exists for the conversion date. However, we are not able yet to do invoices, disbursements, or enter purchase documents or requisitions in that new transactional currency. So in this video, we'll see the next step which will enable us to do that. And that step consists in mapping the journals to the currency code, in this case, the new transactional currency, in AP for purchases and disbursements. So the first thing we need to do is go to the AP module, then go to the entity maintenance screen. We will select the entity for which we will be doing invoices and disbursements in the new transactional currency. We will add the new currency, in this case GBP, to that entity. Then map the purchasing and disbursements journals for that currency and do this for all the entities that will have transactions in the currency. One missing step here that we should add is we also need to configure the AP offset for the new transactional currency. Okay, so let's take a look at that in the application. So we will go to the Utilities Entity Maintenance screen. We will enter the entity code, add the transaction to the currencies in use, and not the transaction, I mean add GBP to the currencies in use, then go to the Journals tab, and here we will specify the journal for purchases, so invoices, credit memos, and so on, which we set to be like this, and disbursements, which we set to be this one. Right, so in this case, it's numerical. I stated that we had examples of text codes as well. In this case, we're using numbers. So that's all you have to do for mapping the journals. Now, one step that's also pending is you would need potentially the offset for that currency GBP, because when you enter an invoice, you have a debit side and then you have a payable. The payable you need to record in GBP, and most probably you would run FX gain loss for that offset. So that step is missing, so we will also do that. So let's go to user tables, account codes. We'll add a new account code to the GL. Let's call it AP offset. You can give it another code if you want. In this case, I'm doing AP offset GBP. We will select one of these accounts here, the FQA that corresponds. In your case, it's probably different. I'll just assume that this is the AP offset in GBP. And now, after I do that, I could go to the entity again, go to account defaults, select GBP, and then select the code I just created for GBP. If you have a bank for which you want to also be doing transactions in GBP, you might need to add that. So you might do a similar process. There's also a video guide online for how to create bank codes. We can look at it pretty quickly here. We can go to account codes. Again, let's call this GBP bank and assume that it's going to be this one. You would use the FQA that corresponds to your GBP bank, create your bank code. And after it has been set up, you can go ahead and set up the bank code here. Now, the bank code, you can create the bank code now or later whenever you need to, and also the AP offset. Say if you just wanted to do the minimum setup so that you could start issuing purchase documents in GBP in this example, all you need to do is add the currency here, map the journals, and you would say you would leave the rest of the configuration on hold for the offset and the bank code. And then if you go to purchase documents, you would see that you could raise POs, purchase documents in GBP now. So if I try to create a GBP purchase document, you will see in currency we will now have GBP as an option. And that's how you would do the configuration to be able to do invoices, disbursements, and also raise POs, requisitions, and other purchase documents in GBP or in any transactional currency that you're setting up.